All right, welcome to another edition of 7 Minutes of Saints. Andrew, as we wait for the news to trickle in, I would remind the people that this is the free episode you get on Wednesday, and you should subscribe and pay $7 a month, because when free agency kicks in, you're going to want this every fucking day, people. You're going to want this. You're going to want when the Saints sign, people are going to be like, I need Saints analysis and jokes, and there's going to be nobody else to turn to 30 minutes after it happens except for us. So you should pay the $7. All right, Andrew. Today, I want to talk about P.J. Williams, and should the Saints keep him? Should they not? What's your thoughts on his season? Let's start there. How was he in 2018?
Yeah, so very interesting, odd year. First of all, he comes in, he replaces Ken Crawley, and Ken Crawley's really struggling. The Saints don't feel like he's playing well, and so they bring in PJ, and all right, PJ, you're starting. And first game he comes in, he gets roasted. I mean, just awful. Looks even worse than Ken Crawley. And, that was kind of the Crawley gets his job back the following week. And, basically it starts this whole Eli Apple process where the Saints acquire Apple, and Apple ends up being starter. So,
you mean the process of Sean Payton badgering Mickey Loomis every single day to get him a corner?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. But so Patrick Robertson gets injured, and P.J. Williams, once again finds himself a role as the nickel guy. And then I thought he played pretty well all year at nickel. I think he's a good player. I think he's got good size, got pretty good speed. He's physical against the run. So I think he's got some qualities. I still think he lacks a little bit of just discipline in his game, and I think that's kind of...
And in his life, let's be real.
And in his life. He just gets the DUI. I thought he was okay. I think he's okay as a reserve corner, and he's the kind of guy, and we always talk about you can't have enough guys at that position. So, Ken Crawley's the guy I'd want to keep too. I know people hate him, but if he's the fifth corner on your team, and you kind of have him stashed away in case something happens, I'm kind of okay with him staying on the team and continuing to try to improve and all that. But with PJ, I think he walks, because Patrick Robinson, the Saints have to keep him based on the way his contract is structured. So he's not going to be a top three guy, and I think he's going to be looking for a top three salary. And so, to me, that's where P.J. Williams probably doesn't fit into the Saints' plan.
Yeah, but is P.J. Williams, is he a dude like Sterling Moore, where we were like, we weren't like the Saints were going to pay Sterling Moore a ton of money, but we were like, Sterling Moore will have a market. Like, teams will want him. He'll be all right. And he had no market whatsoever, dude. He's in the AAF now. Yeah. So my thing is the Saints, you cannot pay your fourth corner $5 million. There just becomes a point, economically, things cannot be done, right?
There's a big difference to me between him and Sterling Moore. First of all, he has the size and speed to be an outside corner. Now, he may not get it. He may not be able to do it, but he has the size and speed. Sterling Moore is nothing but a mediocre slot corner and always has been. And, size-wise, that's his reality. So, teams may like Sterling Moore for what he brings to the locker room. They may like him for his aggressiveness and his just toughness, but no one is ever going to mistake Sterling Moore for the prototypical speed or size that you need at that position. P.J. Williams has that. He had a first round grade on him for a lot of teams for a reason, in terms of just sheer talent. So he was a first round pick just in terms of the grade that he received based on his talent. He fell to the third round because of his off the field issues. His off the field issues, which kind of just reared their ugly head again, that may cost him money this offseason. Some that may scare some teams away of saying, you know what, I don't want to invest in this guy because I don't trust that he's going to have his head on straight. So that may cost him a little bit. But I think he's done enough. I mean, he had that big pick six against the Vikings. that was kind of his big play of the year. But
well, let's talk about if he leaves, right?
Yeah.
His Minnesota game. I don't know if there's a word for it, but like players that like Saints Twitter and Saints fans hate and rail against constantly. Like he had one of the great turnaround moments in history because he was getting roasted early in that game, and then he forced the fumble that swung the game right before the half. And he had the pick six to close it out, man. And people were riding his ass for like a quarter, like hard. And the week before, like I don't know, like it's one of the great turnabout games for like a player that Saints fans just ride. It's one of the great turnabout games ever. And it might be like one of my top three. If we did top three memories of 2018, I think it might be in there with like Breeze's spin and that. Like it was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing. But I think ultimately he wants to get paid. Of course, I mean that's all players. That's all people. They want to get paid, and so I just think to me the Tetris piece doesn't line up very well. I think when you look at a corner, like people will pay their third corner. That's the thing. Like in this market, in this day and age, teams want to pay their third corner more money than they pay their starting running back and their starting safety.
Third corner is a starter now.
Yeah. Yep.
It is. Right. It's just that teams play. They pass the ball a ton, and you got to play three corners, and it's not. It's. When you say third corner, I think a lot of people still think of it as a backup. It's not a backup. It's a starter.
Yeah.
So before we get out of here, what do you think his contract will be?
I think it's going to be surprisingly high. I think you look at like some of these contracts. I mean, Malcolm Butler just got $10 million a year. And he was kind of disappointing, and kind of on the down slope. So I just think P.J. Williams is probably going to get 4 years, $28 million.
Oh my God! Yeah, we overvalue Saints players so much. Oh my God, Andrew, are you drinking on a Monday morning driving into work? 4 years, $28 million.
If his market collapses, feel free to come back and make fun of me. But I just think, again, I look at this as a young corner, a guy who's tasted success, a guy who has the size and speed that teams desire. And now the DUI thing gives me pause. But, I mean, he could still get $5 million a year. Maybe that cost him a big payday. But I just think when you look at a corner like that, I mean, is he going to make less than Patrick Robinson did? Because Patrick Robinson was much older when he came to the Saints last year. And what was his contract? $8 million a year?
No, it was 5. It was 4 for 20, and he gets 10 the first 2. And man,
right,
Patrick Robinson.
So that's a good comp because he's much younger than Patrick Robinson, and they basically have the same write-up right now. They're guys with size and speed, and
but Patrick Robinson.
So 4 for 20 feels pretty good, right?
Patrick Robinson had the Super Bowl shine on him, and he didn't have a DWI. I'm saying Patrick Robinson's going to get a 1 year, $5 million deal. Like his market's going to. P.J. Williams, he's going to get a 1 year, $5 million deal.
So you're saying he'll get paid handsomely, it'll be guaranteed, but he won't get the longevity.
No, he won't get the longevity. They'll be like, dude, you got to go another off season and not get a Dewey. So, all right. This has been 7 Minutes of Saints. If you like the sort of free preview on the Wednesday, you should sign up for it permanently. It's $7. We'll see you tomorrow.